There comes a moment in life when the noise around you becomes louder than the voice within you. The alarms ring. The messages arrive. The responsibilities grow. The world keeps moving faster and faster. Yet somehow, deep inside, something feels missing. Not because you have failed. Not because you are weak. But because your soul is trying to tell you something your mind has been too busy to hear. My child, the world has taught you many things. It taught you to compete. It taught you to prove yourself. It taught you to chase success before understanding peace. It taught you to keep moving even when your heart was exhausted. But there is one thing the world rarely teaches: how to be still. Because stillness is uncomfortable. When everything becomes quiet, you begin hearing the thoughts you spent years trying to avoid, the dreams you abandoned, the fears you buried, the questions you never answered, the person you wanted to become. For a long time, you believed that ignoring these feelings would make them disappear. You buried them beneath work, beneath entertainment, beneath endless distractions. But buried dreams have a way of knocking from beneath the surface. They wait, patiently, quietly, until one day they become impossible to ignore. My child, that restlessness inside you is not your enemy. It is an invitation to wake up, an invitation to remember who you are, an invitation to discover that you were created for more than simply surviving each day. The ocean was not created to remain still forever. The eagle was not created to stay on the ground. The stars were not created to hide behind the clouds. And you were not created to spend your entire life doubting your own potential. Fear has spoken to you for many years. It told you, you are too late. You are not talented enough. Someone else can do it better. You missed your opportunity. But fear has never been a reliable guide. Fear looks at mountains and sees obstacles. Faith looks at mountains and sees possibilities. Every great story in history began with uncertainty. Every inventor faced doubt. Every explorer faced fear. Every dreamer faced people who said it could not be done. Yet they moved forward anyway. My child, courage does not arrive before action. Courage arrives because of action. The first step is always the hardest, not because it is physically difficult, because it requires you to leave behind the safety of where you are standing. The sailor cannot discover new oceans while remaining in the harbor. The seed cannot become a tree while remaining inside its shell. Growth always requires movement. Movement always requires courage. And courage always requires faith. You do not need to know the entire journey. You only need to take the next step, then the next, then the next. Life changes one decision at a time, one habit at a time, one moment of courage at a time. My child, stop waiting for permission to become who you were meant to be. The world may never fully understand your dreams. Some people will laugh. Some people will doubt. Some people will tell you to stay where you are because your growth reminds them of the risks they never took. Do not allow their fear to become your future. You were not born to live someone else's story. You were born to write your own. There are gifts inside you that nobody else possesses. There are experiences that prepared you for challenges you have not yet faced. There is strength inside you that difficult seasons have quietly built. The storms you survived were not meaningless. The disappointments taught lessons. The failures built resilience. The waiting built patience. Nothing was wasted. My child, sometimes life feels slow. You work hard but see little progress. You pray but hear no answers. You plant seeds but see no harvest. In those moments, remember the farmer. The farmer does not dig up the seed every morning to check whether it is growing. He trusts the process. Growth often happens underground before it becomes visible above the surface. The roots grow first. Strength grows first. Character grows first. Then one day the breakthrough arrives. Suddenly what seemed impossible becomes reality. Not because it happened overnight, because the work was happening where nobody could see it. Your life may feel the same way right now. You may not see progress. You may not feel stronger. You may not realize how much you have grown. But growth is happening. Even in silence, even in waiting, even in uncertainty. My child, There will be days when you want to quit, days when the road feels too long, days when the mountain feels too high. On those days, remember this: you do not have to climb the entire mountain today. You only need to take one more step, one more conversation, one more effort, one more attempt. Great victories are built from small acts of persistence. History remembers the people who continued when quitting would have been easier. And one day your story may become the reason someone else refuses to give up. Never underestimate the power of your example. The candle does not know how many people its light will help. It simply shines. The river does not know every place it will reach. It simply flows. The sun does not ask whether the world is ready for morning. It rises anyway. Perhaps it is time for you to rise as well. Rise above fear. Rise above doubt. Rise above the voice that says you are not enough, because you are stronger than your fears, braver than your doubts, and more capable than you realize. My child, the chapter you are living today is not the end of your story. The storm is not your destination. The struggle is not your identity. This season will pass. The night will end. The sun will rise again. And when it does, you will look back and realize something incredible. The moment you believed you were falling apart was actually the moment you were becoming who you were always meant to be. So keep moving, keep believing, keep growing, keep becoming, because your story is